to the people of Trinidad and Tobago some substance for us to think about. So many of us, we sing our religious songs on the tip of our tongues, right? Just talk, sometimes just empty words, but the principles and teachings that we are supposed to walk with, we really leave far behind. We do not make that real effort to practice the things that we are taught within these spaces. You know, and I hope that in all these spaces we are taught these positive things. And it goes across every single teaching that exists within our space. Yeah? Believe me, there is guidance and positivity. But we praise and we practice whatever ritual now. And 2 minutes later, we take advantage of others. We, express our bad mind for others with our actions. We don't embody that care and love that every practice, I ain't talking about the evil practices that exist as well in very small pockets, but the general teachings that exist throughout our major religious teachings in Trinidad and Tobago. The understanding of imperfection on one side, and the perfection on the next. That we as human beings, we are not perfect, but we have the ability to strive towards being the best that we could be. Those who follow that teaching will understand what I'm talking about. And I see constant celebration, right? We having a day which every day is supposed to be prayer and reflection, etc. And it has to be that prayer and reflection gives birth to something. I don't want to get too specific for people to criticize because of my understanding of other persuasions and religions as well, right? But I'm talking about across the board. Across the board, so many practices that really are grounded in positive teaching, and we don't translate it into life. We don't translate it into life, and that's what Chucky Gordon tries his best to articulate in that song. Tremendous piece of calypso, right? And I overdid. Normally I try to do just one song to start off the morning, but I also, I played I Believe as well, because like Chucky as well, and like so many other Trinbagonians, I believe in my nation. I believe in us as a people. People make up this country. It is people. It is not a color or a brand or whatever. It is people who make up this that we call Trinidad and Tobago. And the better that we are as people, the better this nation will be. Our experiences based on how we interact and feel, how we live with each other, inspire us to say, boy, this is Trinidad and Tobago. One one positive interaction, one smile and good morning and a helpful hand could set you, on that positive path during the day. So don't just be the one to be seeking and want to receive that positiveness, that positivity and that love. Be the one to also set it forth into our space. Be the one to set it forth. Have patience. It is challenging sometimes when we are challenged. Life challenges us. And then people bring their additional challenges to us as well for assistance, for help, for whatever. And that is the point in which we are tested, where we have to show that patience. We have to show that patience. I have the Me Too movement. When people come with the problems, or my dad used to say he's the president of our club, because if you think you have problems, well, boy, we all do. Don't mind some of us carry it a little better than others because of our understanding, because life is this challenge. But regardless, we hear out our fellow man. We try to give them encouragement by explaining to them that they are not alone. We extend to them that encouragement of patience. Whatever we could do, we do. We do, and we make that effort. And then we live with our understanding that the Creator who directs us to show that love is in charge of all things. Yeah, Trump feel he's the boss, and right, and whoever else pulling his strings, the Zionist entity that rules so much of the world, that funds and dictates to American presidents and other presidents and whoever what to do, the agenda, right? Yeah, they feel they're in charge, but there's a Creator above all of us. Man is proficient in destruction. Oh, he could destroy this. Oh, he could take life, for which he will be paid in kind. He will be given the punishment to suit. But he can't create anything. Even in his own creation, he had absolutely no hand. So we have to have that level of wisdom and consciousness. We have to understand that all things are in the hands of the Creator, and he could give us whatever it is. And that our satisfaction and our joy is not to just be derived from whatever we want being in our hands. A lot of us have that perception that when we get this, we have to have this thing to be happy. How sad that is, eh? How poor you are if you only have things. So we try and we make that effort to set the mind straight here on the street 91.9 FM. We try to give that level of guidance. We try to encourage people to believe. Believe in yourself as well. Believe in the power of goodness. Believe in, your nation, your fellow man. And try to inspire and ignite the best out of your fellow man. So, two of my favorite. I mean, there's a lot of music that I enjoy. There's a lot of positivity within our spaces. Sometimes we overlook them for what is more popular but negative. But inspire yourself, and when you feel that you're lacking some inspiration, you know, seek it out from the positivity that exists. Pick up your little scripture, right? Put on something of substance to listen to. Reflect. Take a little time for yourself. You know? We come back, because I see the ads are up. We come back in the next hour, and we'll get into a little bit of the news and current events as well. Blessings and good morning again to Trinidad and Tobago.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM for Gospel in the Bone Ministry every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. For the program, God's Last Warning Message. Hosea chapter 4 says, "Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood." Remember, every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message with Gospel in the Bones Ministry, right here on the Street 919 FM.
Are you searching for answers to life's questions? Those things that disturb and concern you the most? Why all the wickedness? Why the suffering in the world? Will it end? Who is responsible? Well, if so, join us right here on The Street 91.9 FM every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. with Brother Samuel Gooding and Roland White, where we open the Bible and find answers to all these things and more. For it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
The #1 bookstore in Trinidad is having the biggest back-to-school sale for the holidays.
Shop at Sharon's Bookstore for the biggest back-to-school sale.
All your kindergarten, preschool,
primary, secondary school,
and tertiary education supplies at ridiculously low prices. Sharon's also carries a wide range of sneakers, socks, t-shirts, vests for girls and boys,
and much more items for school. So don't miss Sharon's back-to-school sale.
Now on Eastern Main Road, San Juan, Tunapuna.
2 locations at Trin City Mall, ground level and first level. We're also open on Sundays from 8 a.m. Check us on Facebook for up-to-date info and promotions. Also, message us for a quick response.
Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes. Free entry and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
The Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches, together with national cultural icon Mr. William Monroe, presents the first ever national concert of choirs, Divine Harmonies, Saturday, December 6, 2025, at the Grandstand, Queen's Park, Savannah. Choirs will be competing for prize money to the tune of $250,000, with the winner walking away with the grand prize of $100,000. We invite all church choirs nationwide to participate in the spiritual, cultural, and musical richness that will bring upliftment to our nation and redound to the glory of God. Tickets will be available August 15th from Maranatha Bookstore and outlets of the Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches. For more information, call 719-9599 or 497-0361. Divine Harmonies, ushering in the glory of God. This is Apostle Anthony Golson, and I'm inviting you to be there.
Miss the biggest price meltdown at Furniture Plus this summer. Shop dining room sets from $15.99, bedroom combos from $20.69, plus free delivery with select living room furniture. Shop the best deals at Furniture Plus today.
The Street 919 FM is here to help our community. We know that back to school season can be a financial strain, so we're giving back with our Each One Help One Part 2 giveaway. We're giving away one $500 voucher for back-to-school supplies and plenty of consolation prizes. Here's how to enter. Every day at 3 p.m. after the ads, we'll take our first 3 callers. You must start your call with the special access phrase, Each One Help One Part 2. To be eligible, nominate someone in need by giving us their name. We will draw the winners live on Tuesday, September 2nd at 3 p.m. on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Get ready to call and help us make a difference.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-844.
The time is 7 a.m. This time check is sponsored by Nescafe, ready to drink. It just hits different.
And the playlist right, it hits different. Can you feel that shift? Nescafe, ready to drink. On the road, we on the go. Just grab your crew and grab your brew. Hits different, hits different. Vanilla latte mocha, hits different. Nescafe, the party never over.
Nescafe, ready to drink.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
The presence of oxygen is absolutely the absence of disease. Most chronic diseases that plague us are not happening to us, but is happening within us. We're literally eating ourselves to death, which means we're not living longer, we're dying longer. Join fitness expert Aloy Johnson, the founder of the healthiest corner on earth, located at number 92 East Drive, Chamfleur, every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. live on the Street 919 FM, where he shows you that healing the body's temple is easier than anyone would have led you to believe.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code Radio2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
And we are back. Good morning again, Trinidad and Tobago. I touched on the news this morning as well, just before I came. So I know a few of the articles that exist. One was particularly touching as well. I saw a man died in a fire. His home caught a fire, and I think he was trying to save it. Just, you know, a little shack. Let me see if I pull up the specific article. But it was quite sad as well. You know, the condition that he was living in as well. Tried to cook a little fireside on a fireside fire, and I think he threw too much gas into it. And I mean, he was alive when people assisted him and he went to the hospital, but subsequently passed away. A really sad story there. And just thinking about the challenges, the difficulties that some people face sometimes as well, because it is particularly challenging to find yourself in that living condition, you know. And I don't know the details, so I don't want to go into the details, but there are so many people who have, you know, that level of challenge in terms of their living conditions as well. It's be extremely challenging. And of course, parents are frantic at this point in time, back to school. Of course, we heard a little ad from Charon's. I think Charon's prices are pretty good as well. But, you know, the hardship of sometimes not being able to meet the expectations or the needs, forget expectations, the needs of your dependents could be extremely challenging, you know, mentally and otherwise. Not just, obviously, it's a challenge that the children will have to face when they go to whatever institution, etc. But it is also a tremendous challenge on the parents as well, because it could mentally affect you in a real way. And then, of course, we saw some other little positive stuff. I think Dwayne Bravo had a little charity tournament called Tournament the other day, which is good. And also some children presenting a really nice, let me see if it's a painting. Oh, a Lego version of the redesigned coat of arms. Okay, alright, so it's a group of children doing Lego. Okay, wow, that's nice. And they presented it to the president as well. You know, there is a mixed bag of news very often. Sometimes the headlines are dominated by some of the more difficult acts to stomach, but there's usually a mixed bag of stuff as well. So sometimes we look on at the news and the headlines catch us, and because it is something that stands out in terms of sometimes crime, etc., that is it. We have seen enough, you know. And I myself as well, sometimes those challenges that our society faces, it could really beat you down to a point where, you know, there are people who say they don't even watch the news anymore because it is the same negative acts sometimes repeated. But we have to be aware of what is going on in our society, and we have to pray, as I said before, and make whatever positive impacts we can make as well. That charity, that assistance, that lending a good word, we don't know how far it could actually go. We don't know how much that counseling, when somebody calls us, when somebody reaches out to us, we don't know how much it could do to impact that individual's life. And I shared this story some time back where a young man was trying to reach out, and he got counseling, he got that assistance, and he said, you know, he was really in a dark place contemplating taking his own life. So we really don't know how far sometimes our little assistance can go to inspire people, to help people in the hard positions that we might find ourselves in as well. Because sometimes we ourselves, you know, we have those challenges as well. So there's an interesting one in the news as well. Some individual is not a doctor. I think he is pretending to be a doctor or something like that. Trinidad, not easy, you know. The Southwest Regional Health Authority yesterday stated that the man identified as pretending to be a doctor while on the compound of San Fernando General Hospital was not employed with the organization. The police and the hospital's security personnel were notified. A social media post stated that a man was seen wearing a lab coat with his name and the word surgeon. He also had a stethoscope around his neck while at the hospital. It was said that he made social media videos in the surgical department. In line, Trinidad is something else. I mean, but not specific to Trinidad alone. I'm sure there are other places where we have this type of behavior. I don't want to call it madness. The man might have some kind of reason for doing whatever he did. And I just saw the article as well with the sad situation where the guy passed away. Of course, still in the news, and back and forth between the political entities that exist. And the headline is, "I will accept any help." And of course, this is referring to our Prime Minister stating that she will accept any help from the US to fight against drugs and narco trafficking in our region, through our region as well, because in particular America is stating that they are concerned with obviously drugs reaching to them, right? So they're trying to stem the flow of drugs reaching to the United States, right? So they say. I don't want to get into that too much, but it is still a burning topic in the public spaces. I heard a couple of people commenting and speaking about the issue as well. Of course, I have had reason to express my reservations about the United States and their reasons for coming into the region in the manner in which they're coming now as well. But in terms of the position that our government has taken officially, and in terms of their support for the fight against drugs, because that is the pretense for which the United States is saying that they're coming to the region at this particular time with the particular force that they're coming with. Our Prime Minister supports that, and there's nobody publicly, at least, who has a negative attitude towards the prevention of the trade and transportation of drugs within our region. I don't think, I say publicly, right? But for mainstream, everybody wants to see as much intervention to curb the drug trade. And obviously we understand the tremendous negative impact that the drug trade has on Trinidad and Tobago as well, right? And not just drugs, obviously the drugs come with arms as well. So in terms of that specific understanding, we're all good. But of course, you know, many of us, from our experience and our understanding and our knowledge and the actions of this and prior administrations, U.S. administrations, we are very, very skeptical. All right? And I know it's still a burning topic within this space, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. Of course, we have CPL as well starting today, starting in Trinidad. Obviously, it has started in other islands, and we have won 2 of the 3 games that we have played. We as in TKR, I don't know who you all support, right? There are some people who choose to support other franchises as well. I believe in the red, white, and black, as Chucky Gordon would have sung a little earlier. So I'm a TKR fan, right? I support my partners and them, right? The powerful hitting Pollard, who's still at it, right? Even against the team that we're playing today, Falcons, I thought we had a chance with him coming in and hitting some big ones down to the end of that innings. We thought we might have seen a repeat of a phenomenal win pushed by Pollard, but it didn't happen, and we face that team today at Brian Lara Stadium. So the police are just telling us that it will be safe, right? And obviously there are concerns by the population in general for every major event that is taking place, since we have been directed that there are certain security challenges in Trinidad and Tobago. So the police doing their best to just reassure us, and obviously I would think their pronouncements are based on the directives that they have been given by intelligence services, etc. So they're saying that security will be boosted and we should have a safe and, of course, enjoyable evening, starting from this evening, but couple evenings as well, because we host, I think, 4 or 5 matches, and I know that Trinidad and Tobago anticipates all of our sporting events. We have a blockbuster week or 2, because we also have football qualifiers coming up as well. We play Curacao on the 5th. So, you know, this is Trinidad and Tobago, and that is an essential part of our culture as well. We love our sport, right? We love our cricket and we love our football and we love basketball and probably every sport that there is Trinidad and Tobago citizens get involved in. We love our gymnastics. I can't forget out, right? Good morning and blessings to Wolfpack Academy and to all those who represented us recently in Curifta, right? And we enjoy our sports. So we look forward to this evening. Of course, you all know how the traffic could be as well. So manage yourself and your time as well to try to get into the stadium as best as possible, right? I myself, I don't know how I'm managing that one. Sometimes I purposefully go late just to try to escape some of the traffic, but of course you miss major parts of the game as well. Alright, so a lot going on in Trinidad and Tobago, a lot always in our space. And I know people will ask the question, how come these events are safe and independence wouldn't be safe? And we understand that there are specific threats to certain people, and the information that they have is that specific government ministers, etc., they have been targeting, right? Morning. Morning, my brother.
Blessing and praising, give thanks to life, health, and strength. Who are we celebrating independence tonight? Play cricket, boy.
If we celebrating it all week if you want.
You celebrate it whole week.
Yeah, you're going.
I must say happy independence, because in independence the fireworks and everything call off until further notice. We haven't had with our prayer. But I know that the good praying soul out there. We look out there and pray and bless the nation.
Yeah, man, of course.
Well, what can I work here for my life?
I will tell you when I could pay. I will tell you. I want to bring you out to work and I can't pay you.
You that man go pay, man. You that man, you know, man. You up there, you know. I down there.
All right, man. Blessings, blessings.
Bless.
Yeah. Of course, people looking for it. And my boy KFC looking for it as well, right? I now pulled up this story. Man dies trying to save home. And we would advise, I mean, I'm not the fire service at Trinidad and Tobago, but I advise people that obviously, yes, it may be all that you own and mean the world to you, but if you attempt to save your home, sometimes you lose what is even more precious, right? Your life as well. So a sad story is, you know, and an elderly man as well, well, of substantial age, 60-year-old David Greaves died after he attempted to save his home, which caught on fire while he was getting set to cook on a fireside on Sunday. Our condolences to his family and his loved ones as well, right? Greaves sustained injuries to his legs and was taken to hospital to be treated for these and for smoke inhalation. However, he died from his injuries. Rough, it rough, you know. And of course, his neighbors, etc., would have tried to assist as best as possible. Officers from Monrepo Fire Station responded around 12:30 a.m. and extinguished the blaze at the structure, which had neither electricity nor running water. Greaves also told the officers that he was attempting to extinguish the fire, that in attempting to extinguish the fire, he was burnt on his legs. You know, really, really sad story there. But we have to understand as well the reality of people's conditions as well. It is not because we may be in a better condition economically and a little bit more stable that we don't recognize and understand that there are people who going through some really difficult times, right? Who live in structures where there is no electricity or running water, right? That exists in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And it may exist on a scale that is much more prevalent than we believe. Let us not go into a place where, because we don't share those circumstances and those challenges, we don't realize that people have those challenges. Let us understand that genuinely, there are people who cannot afford to send their children to school. And there are people who are working poor, right? They're working, they're trying to make ends meet, and it is extremely difficult, right? Let us not take it for granted that there are people who we see every day, you know, who have jobs that we think is becoming and decent, but they still face severe financial challenges, right? Let us understand where we live in and what is going on and what is transpiring and cost of living and other things. And, you know, of course, those things would have contributed to the apathy, the anger that existed for our past administration. And we look forward to, as soon as possible, as best as possible, those things being alleviated, right? And we happy that there is a sincere level of sympathy and empathy and understanding for the poor. So those who have this responsibility now to discharge the resources of our country, right? You know, there are a number of book drives. You know, I saw even the Minister of Homeland Security as well doing distributions. You know, good morning to Mr. Philip Watts as well. I saw him doing quite a bit of distributions as well, filling children's book lists, you know, providing the amenities that are necessary to go back to school, right? Absolutely wonderful. But let us, all of us who engage in that level of work, let us do so and continue to preserve the dignity of our fellow citizens as well, right? We know how to help with that dignity, and of course at the same time, yes, we have the task of as well showing that we are doing what we are supposed to do. So we have to we have to weigh it up. But we really want to move Trinidad and Tobago from a place where there is that level of need. You know, and I'm speaking from my mind and my heart. We want to move Trinidad and Tobago from a place where there is so much need. We want to move Trinidad and Tobago from a place where people live in abject poverty, in a shack with no lights and no running water, and, you know, so challenged by the hardship of losing that, risk their life to save it, and risk their life and lose their life. You know, we want to move from that place. And I think for me, in the spirit of independence, for what that is worth and what it means, that's what I want to really see and have a vision of. I want to have a vision of Trinidad and Tobago moving from this place, the people of Trinidad and Tobago moving from this place of desperation, this place of insecurity and challenge, to a place of greater security, economic security, of greater stability, of greater independence. I want to see that transition being made, that pathway being cleared for our people. I want to see a vision of this. These are the steps that we have to take. These are the steps that we have to take, and that being articulated to our people. Listen, this is what we are doing. And some of it has been said to us. This is what we are doing, so that at the end of this is where we will be as a nation. These are the forward steps that we have to take. I don't want to be 5 years, 10 years later, we still exist in the same place where the need is still the same, and if a MP or a philanthropist or somebody who does not fill a child's book list, they don't have books to go to school. That should be an anomaly. That should be on a small level. It should not be that people have to rush because the demand is so high. And if it is partially financial education and responsibility that needs to be imparted upon our population as well, then it has to be done. And concrete steps need to be taken towards that. But the reality is that a large sector of our society lives on wages that are not sufficient. A large section of our society lives on less than what will afford them a decent standard of living. And that is what desperately needs to be improved. And that's why yesterday, people took us in a direction, and I respect what the people wanted to speak about as well. And yes, the global politics has an impact on our internal politics, a tremendous impact as well. But that is what I was trying to speak about as well yesterday in terms of our productivity. Because our productivity affords us the opportunity to grow as a nation. It is a drag and a drain on our society if we sit down, if our power and our strength and our energy is wasted by us just sitting down. You have a time to rest. You rest after your work. You don't rest from resting. You don't take a break from taking a break. Oh God! You don't take a break from taking a break. You don't wipe your head when you ain't even sweat yet. So that's what can immediately, and what is in our hands, that's what can immediately give us the ability to move forward. That productivity with our own efforts. And I was saying yesterday, I was saying that we are crafty for the wrong things sometimes, Trinidad and Tobago. We find all kind of schemes to get away from work. Morning, Mr. West. Welcome.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford, I like your trust this morning in terms of productivity and that kind of. But I think the transformation of the attitudes of those people who are charged with the responsibility of delivering public service. And I'm saying that you need a renewal in terms of spirit, and you need a change in the institutions and the way they are structured and the way they are allowed to work. The question of responsibility, you see it in most government institutions. You see it in the banks, government-owned banks. You see it in the public service and that kind of thing. And so you need a transformation. And there are some people who want to perform, who want to get up from their back, or whatever it is you want to say, behind, in order to but they, as a matter of fact, they are challenged. And it's, as somebody said recently, what it calls for is leadership at the level of the political level, leadership at the level of the administration, the public officers, permanent secretaries, these administrative officers and all these people coming down the road. Because you can't have people in those institutions. They come when they want, they go where they want, they dance. Because I recently went to the one of those public organization institutions there, and I was danced around in terms of getting the service that I requested. And I realized that I'm not the only one. And every day I suspect that hundreds or thousands of citizens are being given the runaround. Unnecessary runaround, because there's nobody. The question of accountability, you have a clerk one there, you have a clerk two, you have a whoever it is, then like nobody in charge. Nobody. So I'm saying that you need some reform. You need a change in terms of the way these institutions are being managed. You need responsibility. You need accountability. Yes, we're talking about productivity, but how do we get productivity? What is the way forward? And I'm saying unless there's a transformation in terms of how we do business, how those places are managed, we're not going to get it. WASA, I remember sometime in the last incarnation of this government, WASA was very productive. You had no problem for water in the West, because there was one particular man there, not one man, but the fact remains it may have trickled down within the water authorities with respect to those people who are charged with the responsibility, the turnpike people. You have to get them going. If you don't get these people working, you always have water problems. Sometimes they don't turn up to so one area getting water for 3 days, the next one, because when they feel to come on a morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, they come, they turn up when they want. And you need to supervise these people and ensure that these people do their work. Most of the problems with water are with those people, and you're hiding it, That's a fact. And those people at the lower level, because they are not being managed properly, they're not being there's no oversight. So I'm saying that we need to deal with those issues if we want to see productivity, if we want to see efficiency and effectiveness in the delivery of services in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. West. When there's a manager who is adamant, who is insistent that things must be done the right way, when there's a manager who is encouraging productivity, the workforce sometimes unites, especially those who are accustomed to the culture of mediocrity and just wasting time. They come together and they try to fight out and push out. Sometimes they try to defame those in the positions of managerial responsibility. All kind of things they do to try to stop that individual who is really aiming to shape up the organization. Good morning. Welcome.
Assalamualaikum, brother. How are you?
Hey, walaikum salam, man. I'm good.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Everybody on the road. Trinidad and Tobago, everybody morning. Almighty blessings to everybody. What I want to make quickly 2 points on what Mr. West, because I'm not turn on the radio there. Lower Santa Cruz from us, where we lived in Santa Cruz, and not even lower, so from Lacano, come straight up the road, straight up to La Pastora. We get water 2 days. The other day we don't get. We recently, in the start back now, where we're taking 3 and 4 days to get water. When we do get the water, it's the quality of water you get it. It's wrong. So you have to leave that water, run. So if you fill up your tank becomes dirty. So like again, it all goes back to management. It all about quality control and all these things. So you're giving me water, but look at the quality you're giving. So, and quickly I'll say to you speak about productivity. I went in a Chinese grocery. The young man, he said he born in Trinidad, but he speaks fluent Chinese as well, along with his parents taught him. I said, how come the Chinese people and them, I mean, people that say you all don't take a rest or don't take a day off, or you say, listen to me, we take our rest. He said, I born in Trinidad, but I grew up. He said, how you become productive if you don't get up and work? And this is a young man, about 23 or 24 years, saying that. He take a break from school, he come back to Trinidad because he's studying, to assist his parents in their work. His father works in a restaurant as well as come and manage the grocery. So he's simply saying at 23 years, he said, how are you going to be productive? How are you going to make it if you don't have proper management, if you don't get up and tell yourself, I need to make it out here? I mean, I had my own shortcomings in life, but I'm close to retirement, so I'm trying to still continue what I have started and go with the flow and do what I'm supposed to do. But if that is the mindset, I asked the question already, how will the people change and when will they change? To understand that. We watch the Chinese, we vex with them. Oh, they're making and they want to rob them. They get up and get up like everybody else. So that is just a simple point, based upon what Mr. West has just said there.
Yeah.
We have to change your mind. We have to change your mind. We have to start with we.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Again,
thank you very much, man.
So all the best. Keep it locked on.
And same to you, man. All the best. Have a blessed day. Yeah. Even in my efforts and my private work as well, I seldom take on responsibility, jobs, etc. that I can't specifically manage myself. Because especially if the job is labor intensive, you send workmen out there and some of them will embarrass you. So I take it upon myself that wherever I have a substantial amount of labor, to be there, to supervise, to ensure that work is being done. Because like we saying this morning, the mentality is very negative sometimes, especially in the public sector. And we have to understand that we are serving ourselves. When we serve our fellow man, we too have to go to some other institution and face our fellow man. So when we set a standard of poor service, then we failing ourselves, and we setting a trend that will end up in us receiving terrible service. So we have to reset our culture. We have to lead from in front. We have that level of leadership that is positive and making tremendous efforts to guide Trinidad on a positive path. But we have to let it trickle down. We have to, well, we're not at a bus head, right? But that's the level of encouragement you have to put within the society and the level of discouraging of the failure in your responsibility. That's the level of discouraging that you have to put out. You have to put a level of consequence to those under your charge to ensure that they do what they're supposed to do and they don't violate their responsibility in a major way and repeat the failures of the past. To change is a tremendous challenge. But that is the responsibility, that is the challenge that faces us. That's the challenge that faces us now. And if we are to be successful in anything, we have to face that challenge now. So it takes strong leadership. It takes really strong leadership to say, hey, no, I do not tolerate this. And of course, I have some friends that are lost. They were never really friends, but people who, because of your stance, because of how strong you are about quality and performance, they may have some negative views about me. But then we have to understand that in positions of responsibility, it is not so much about being liked alone. And we have to be that doctor that is willing to give that bitter medicine or that painful injection for the benefit of our patient. To have some painful pills that we have to swallow. It has some uncomfortable restructuring that has to take place. And we have to support that. While being understanding and empathetic and caring towards the most vulnerable. We're not forgetting that. But we don't want to allow people to create that vulnerability for themselves. You make the institution in which you are involved in vulnerable through your failure to act in the right way. Boy, if I give all you some stories about the type of workers sometimes I have to put up with and the type of things that they do, or we can laugh from now till tomorrow. You give people simple tasks sometimes, what you perceive as a simple task, and they create a problem that didn't exist. And if you are not there to pay attention, if you are not there to rectify, that's the end of your entire organization, sometimes, We have to build a certain level of competency among our population. We have to hold on to our children now. We have to hold on to our children now in the spaces where we have them, in the educational institutions, in the schools, in the clubs, in the wherever. We have to hold on to those children now and direct them to a better path. We going nowhere if we can't lift that workforce. We going nowhere. We going nowhere if we can't improve upon the people. And among all the other challenges, because trust me, in terms of leadership, Trinidad have all kind of other challenges. among all the other challenges, that challenge has to be faced. So I hear the cries of warrior princess, wherever I hear you cry, but there's a bitter pill you have to swallow. If you engage to do work for 3 hours, for 4 hours, then you have to go and do the people work. It cannot be that you're just going to collect without work. That is that's a destructive signal we sent, and we have sent it for a very, very long time throughout our society. It does not benefit the individual to sit down and do nothing and collect. It destroys that individual's drive and ability to progress. We have destroyed our people. And we cognizant, we understand, and we are aware of how long our leaders have destroyed our people. Literally, they have destroyed our people for their own control and benefit. That's what they did, you know. And not by chance. It's not that they don't know what they did, you know. But now we embark upon a reformation. And it will have a level of pushback. Well, I don't even listen to whatever opposition and whatever, because they will tell us what they're telling us for their benefit. They will exploit the position that they put a certain sector of the society in for their benefit. And they want to continue to perpetuate that destruction, your destruction. So I don't even take that on. If they were honest, they would accept that these changes are necessary to move Trinidad and Tobago forward in a real way. And as one of the viewers saying, we have capable leaders, we have good people in Trinidad and Tobago. We have them, we have people who actually care. We have people who going against the grain, who, you know, it's easy to just trump and follow suit. It's easy to just go along. There are people who actually risk themselves by standing up and challenging what is taking place in institutions. I mean, few and far between, eh? You know, the majority goes along with the flow. But there are those who stand up, who believe in that merit and productivity, who believe in the value of work. Who enjoy that sweat. It's only by that sweat. Who understands the responsibility given to them, and who take pride in discharging that responsibility. My region is one of the best regions in terms of on-time water provision, etc. And I take it personally. That attitude does exist, but the attitude needs to be disseminated. And where we have shortfalls in that culture and that attitude, that culture needs to be re-engendered. not easy, you know. Discipline, correction. Sometimes you have to fire some people. You have to weed out some. So you know, you can't do that here. What you doing? I tell you, some people run from business that involves labor, just not to have to deal with, you know, this bad culture that we have. But it was inculcated over time, and it would not change overnight, but we need to take those strong steps to change it. And we need to explain. You explain to them. Sometimes you explain to them, hey, you can't do this, boy. We will lose we whole work. You wouldn't get paid. I wouldn't get paid. Everybody else, you're jeopardizing for everybody else. And they tell you, yeah. And then 5 minutes later, when you make a circle and you come back, same thing again. It's not easy. But we must tackle that challenge of productivity. We must create organizations that are successful. Successful in the private sector. I was given the example of DHL and the service that I got when I went there the other day. We must have the public sector working with a level of efficiency that can rival private sector, with an attitude towards performance, towards production, meeting the highest levels of production and exceeding it, meeting demand and beyond. We have to pick our country up ourselves. So as we go towards, you know, independence, these are the things that we need to be speaking about and putting into action. Otherwise, what is the sense of a parade to look whatever and fireworks to say wow? How are we really achieving the sort of independence that we want to aspire to? Right? So blessings to everybody. We will be back, God willing, tomorrow. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care.
Today, for more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232. Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv